Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. I am here with another lazy video. I decided that I will do 4 lazy videos. I'm allowing myself 4 videos in which I don't film in the semi-professional way that I tend to do. I just finished a whole degree. I am almost done with my master's application and I just feel like I don't want to do anything. Like I just feel lazy. But I want to make videos, I just don't have the energy or the zeal to make them in the way that I usually do. So I am going to continue this trend of lazy videos for this one, as I said, and the next 2 videos. I actually already filmed the next video, which was a bookshelf scavenger hunt, and let me tell you, it was funny. I think y'all will enjoy that video. But today we are going to be talking about the books that I read in May, the books that I DNF'd, the books that I'm currently reading, that kind of stuff. So the only book that I didn't finish this month that I literally decided to put down is Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I read it 3 years ago. It was okay. I bought the rest of the series because I thought that I loved it and I wanted to continue on with the rest of the series. Never did. Gave it away to my cousin, took it back because I had a newfound interest in Arusha and the End of Time, and I felt like I needed to read this in order to read that. So I was like, oh my god, yes, I'm going to reread the first book and read the rest of the series. Girl, I got 75 pages into that shit. And I was done. I couldn't care less. I found the writing to just be, it just didn't gel with me. The characters I could care less about. I honestly don't think that I will be continuing with this series. I'm not getting rid of it yet. It's going to be living in my unhaul pile for a while before I decide if I actually want to unhaul it, which I most likely will do, but I might give this another try. Probably won't, but might. As for the books that I did actually finish, I finished If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. This is a young adult novel about a young transgendered girl. It is own voices. I didn't really like it. I did think it was okay. Like, I thought the representation was great. We are introduced to Amanda, who is transferring high schools. In her new high school, she does not want to disclose her trans identity for reasons of safety, and this becomes a struggle as she embarks on some new friendships as well as a new romantic relationship with this boy called Grant. We're also seeing her try to reconnect with her father, who she hadn't seen since before her transition and who wasn't supportive of her transition in the first place, as he comes to terms with his daughter's new identity. Again, the rep was great. There were certain things that were said in here that just really stood out to me and really stuck with me, and for that reason I think this book is important and I would still highly recommend it. But other than that though, I found that it read like a generic young adult contemporary. The writing was flat, the characters were extremely two-dimensional. I like the exploration of the main character's relationship with them, but I didn't like them. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I was going to give it 2.5 stars, but the last 50 pages were like really entertaining. Like it's like climax and stuff. Would still recommend it, as I said, but I just was not over the moon about it. Then I reread Written in the Stars by Saajid. You are probably tired of me talking about this book for the past 3 years. I read it 3 years ago. It was the first book, you know, the whole story, the first book that got me into booktube, my first ever videos, a review of this book, blah 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 blah. You all have heard this 100 times before. I liked it a lot on reread. I bumped it down from a 5 to a 4 just because objectively there are certain things about the writing and the plot and just the way things are said and put forward that are not the best. You could tell that it's the author's first book, but the story in of itself is very entertaining. It's very thrilling. Naila is a Pakistani-American teen who breaks her parents' very strict rule of not having a boyfriend. They decide to take her to Pakistan to reconnect with her roots, and while she's there, she realizes that that's not what they're trying to do. In fact, they are trying to arrange a marriage for her and leave she asked day. So the book is about how she navigates herself out of this situation and fails multiple times. It's very frustrating because you just want to keep reading so that you could make sure that this character is okay. You don't know if she's going to get out of this situation, and it's very frustrating. There's a lot of abuse in this book: physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, you know, borderline kidnapping and holding somebody captive. She was drugged at some point. It's a very intense book, so trigger warnings for all of those things I just mentioned. Loved it, very close to my heart, so please read it if you haven't already. Now on to the 3 books that I'm currently reading. Adriana, oh my god, I'm so sorry. So I started a buddy read with Adriana. We were buddy reading this book, Burial Rites. They finished and I got 40 pages in. I haven't picked this one up in a week. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting, it's intriguing. It is a novelization of the true story of Agnes Magnusdóttir, who was the last person to have been sentenced to death in Iceland in the 1800s. It's basically a fictional reimagining of the last few weeks of her life, and I think it's going good so far. The writing is really gate. The writing is really gate. Gate. The writing is really great. Okay, the characters are very intriguing, and I can tell that this story is going to be quite an interesting one. I also started off 2 library books for Libraryathon, which is happening right now, bitch. I'm hosting it. What are you doing? Get on it. It's not too late. We first have Call Me Maria by Judith Ortiz-Cofa. This is a short novel told in poetry, prose, and letters. I should be able to read this in no time, but I read the first 10 pages 2 days ago and I just was not intrigued whatsoever. So I'm going to try to continue on a little bit today. I don't see why I shouldn't read this book because it's so short, so it's like not liking it is not an excuse to not finish it. Especially since I committed to reading it. I will stick to my damn commitments because I didn't do that for May if you watched my May TBR. I forgot to say this one is about a girl called Maria, obviously, who is from Puerto Rico. She's living in New York and we're following her as she, I guess, is kind of adjusting to life in New York as a student and whatnot, writing letters back to her mother, all that kind of stuff. So it is interesting so far, but I'm not like super intrigued to move on with it. Then finally, I am reading For Matrimonial Purposes by Kavita Daswani. Anju is from India, but she is working as like a fashion consultant in New York. In this book, we're following her as she goes back to Bombay for a family wedding, and while she's there, she entertains her parents' desire to arrange a marriage for her. A lot of arranged marriage stuff I'm reading right now. I'm hoping that it doesn't disappoint, because if it doesn't disappoint, it might be a really good book. Like, it could be a 4-5-star read. But we'll see what happens. So that is what's going on in my life right now when it comes to books. I have not been as productive as I wanted to since my degree exams and stuff finished, but I think I'm going to get into a bit of a routine as the summer progresses. In the comments down below, I'd love to know your thoughts on any of these books if you've read them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and until next time, inshallah, keep reading.